Do you actually have to be on cocaine to be on this podcast?
It's a great day to be a Wildcat!
Cocaine.
Surfing.
What's up, everybody? You're listening to yet another edition of Cocaine Willie. I am your commissioner at Bob Trollsby, and as always, I'm joined by my co-hosts, the good chef Andre Napier and Fireball Matt Marchesini. Tonight, we are going to go through Fireball Matt's Burn It Down moment of the week in week 2, chef's recipe for success against Mizzou. We're going to share all three of our predictions for the K-State matchup against the Missouri Tigers this weekend, and then we have our locks standings update so far through week 2, and then we'll have our locks for week 3. I'll throw it over to Fireball Matt first, since this involves the previous game. But what is your burn it down moment of the week for last week?
Yeah, big burn it down moment of the week. I'm actually going to provide two. One is going to be K-State related and one is not. But the one that is not, there's a member of my tailgate 1059 East Side, if anybody wants to stop by and say hi, who forgot the gallon of Fireball that I left at his house this past last week.
Is this an individual whose initials are BS?
BS? Bullshit, am I right? Yeah, BS. And he forgot it. So I hit my under on Fireball shots last week, but it did not inhibit the Cats winning. The actual burn it down moment of the week, where I sat in my seat and went, what the fuck? I would say it's going to be Will Howard throwing a absolutely horrific pass in Troy territory and throwing an interception into double coverage yet again. Very much a 2020 COVID Will Howard move. If he's getting these all out now to have a Heisman season, then I'm fine with it. But that doesn't necessarily sound like that's totally going to happen, but you never know. Never know. But I would say Will turning into 2020 Will Howard in a very poor pass in the first half is my burn it down moment of the week.
Here's the way I think about these interceptions is if he can mentally come back and rebound in the way that he did, like he did against Troy, great. If he does not rebound like that and it actually looks like 2020 Will Howard for the entirety of a game after he makes a mental mistake like that, that's where I'm going to get concerned. And I wasn't as concerned after I saw how K-State rebounded after that interception occurred. But had we gone, another turnover or a punt on that next drive, I would have been a little antsy. We'll put it that way.
This isn't Fireball Matt's burn it down quarter of the week. It is one moment in the game where I wanted to burn everything down. And it was that moment.
I know. I understand.
Will still had a very solid game against a team that is probably going to make a bowl game and may win their conference. But one bad, shitty moment.
He was what, top 8 for like what's the award?
Some award I've never heard of before. Yeah, he was top 8 for that. I've never heard it before.
It wasn't the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm like Player of the Week award or anything, but
no, that went to what's his fuck who cut his.
We don't want to talk about that.
Terrible.
We're not going to talk about that. Well, Chef, what is your recipe for success for this week? And then we'll go into our predictions.
Oh, the recipe for success. What has Colin Klein got cooking up? I don't know. It's going to be weird because if you listen to our episode with Ace Edwards, you gotta attack these safeties and having a full. Do you think we're going to get a full strength Keegan Johnson? I don't know. It would be very, very awesome to have a full strength Keegan Johnson to go with a Ben Sinnott to attack these safeties in the middle of the field. That would be That would be the absolute main ingredient that I would use to have a recipe for success versus Missouri, because it sounds like their front seven is really, really solid. Their best group is the linebackers. That's, that is it going to be hard to run on them? Possibly. But if we're attacking those safeties in the middle of the field, during up the seams, let Will Howard, redeem himself for that, burn it down moment he had that had Matt all fired up. Let him redeem himself versus these safeties. Get Ben Sinnott in the end zone. Come on, baby. Get him in there.
All right. Well, we have the recipe for success. I'll go ahead and kick it off with predictions for the week. I have the Cats winning 35-17. If you look back at a lot of Missouri's games, the last, I'll say 14 games. So if you count last season going into this season, knowing that their offense is essentially exactly the same with the exception of Dominic Lovett, who transferred to another SEC program, which reflects really greatly on Mizzou, then you'll see that there are a lot of games where they scored like 17 points or 20 points maybe. So I just feel really good about the Cats coming into this matchup. I know Chris Kleiman and this team, they didn't overlook Troy last week. So they had the appropriate preparation going into that matchup against Troy, which very easily could have been a trap game or a look-ahead type of game for K-State, as the Tulane game was previously, as the Arkansas State game was in that 2020 COVID season. So I feel really good about the Cats' chances this weekend. I'm thinking 35-17 Cats. Let's go, baby.
Wow. I would take that. I'm going to be in attendance this weekend. And the last away game that I attended was the Iowa State game last year, which was a barn burner 10-9 victory. Wow. I think it's going to go a little bit better for the Cats this week. I'm thinking 31-20. I do think we'll give up some points to Mizzou, but I do think our offense does have a spark in it, that they're going to find a way to score 31 points in this game. Now, is it going to be, Will Howard throwing for 300 yards, or we're going to get 200 yards on the ground? The nice part is I feel confident that either one of those scenarios could happen in this game, just based of how things are going. And I think K-State is a better team than Missouri. I'm not saying that from just an emotional perspective. I think an 11-point win is a fair prediction here. And then the over-under is 3.5 fireball shots, and I will tell you it's going to be way over. Bet the mortgage on it.
I have a quick question for you, Matt. So those 20 points that Missouri is going to score, do those come primarily from the rushing game or from the passing game? Do we see K-State's defense take a step back with the rush defense this week? Or do you think they continue to do well and maybe just Brady Cook has a decent game for once?
I think Brady Cook's going to have a decent game. I think Luther Burden's going to get some opportunities. There may be some opportunities for some, quick screens or something like that with the running backs. Missouri scoring 20 points means that there's going to be a couple drives that they end on field goals, and that's going to be a win for K-State. I mean, ultimately, you obviously are wanting to get punts and everything like that, but we saw against Troy that, little chunk plays that get you into field goal range. It's what you do after those big plays to try and limit a touchdown. And K-State did a good job with that against Troy. I do believe that there will be a couple drives that'll end in some field goals from Missouri. I don't think predicting, Missouri to score 10 points. I just don't think I think they're going to get opportunities and get some points on the board.
I think so too. And, you picked an 11-point win as, oh my God, this is going to sound terrible, but I got the score 24-17. Cats. I think it's going to be tight. I think it's going to be a lot of defense. I think it's going to be first road game for this team. It's going to be a different element. Do we think that Missouri overlooked K-State last year? I mean, it could be a possibility that they didn't take us seriously. This year, this is their Super Bowl. I mean, everybody's saying it. It's the truth. I don't think they have any real expectations going into that SEC schedule, but they know locally, for their culture and for how they're recruiting in the region, they have to try to get a dub versus K-State. And I think they're going to throw the kitchen sink at us. I think it's going to be, our defense has really shown out, and I'm to think that Missouri is going to score more points than those the teams that we just played combined. It's hard for me to see Missouri scoring that many points, but I just know on the road it's a different beast. Luther Burden in the red zone. He's a gadget player, like Ace Edwards said, and you can get tricky with guys like that down in the red zone where it's not just a jump ball kind of guy or, they have to have their full offense. It can get a little tricky. So I'm going to go 23-17, or did I say 24? I think I said 23. 23-17, 6-point win. You
said 24.
I changed my mind. 23-17, hitting the under and a 6-point, but they're covering the spread.
Wait, so 23 means that Chris Tennant's kicking 3 field goals, or he's missing an extra point but makes a field goal.
Which would you rather?
Which would you rather have?
I think we might have a safety somewhere involved in there.
Oh my god!
3 tutties and a safety.
Okay.
Question, chef. Knowing that Brady Cook has a touchdown interception ratio of 2-1, is there a defensive score in this game for K-State?
Every time I predicted it, I'm so far off. It's not even funny.
Say no.
I'm gonna say no. I think he's as bad as he was last year versus us. I think this year I don't know how many of those games you guys watched of Missouri, but you can kind of get that Adrian Martinez coming to K-State vibe where he's so risk adverse that he's throwing these. I mean, what's his completion percentage, like 90%? It's got to be up there. It's crazy. I think he's like 31 of 40. He's just throwing baby checkdowns. He's not doing anything deep. They're relying on the run more than I thought. Because when we did the instant reaction pod, when I said Missouri was more pass heavy, I was wrong. I think they are so conservative. It's a stretch run to the right, maybe a check down to Luther Burden. It's nothing crazy, but I think that can lull us to sleep a little bit. And being on the road, it's gonna get funky. But I think, will there be turnovers in this game? More than likely. These are 2 good defenses, so it could get a little spicy.
It at least looks like the weather's going to be a little different this year compared to last year, which was notorious for being like the most insane, rainy, windy weather that you could have possibly asked for in Manhattan. It looks like it's going to be 77 and sunny, or at least partly cloudy in Columbia this weekend. So it will bode better for those throwing the ball.
What are you wearing, Matt? Not right now, but to the game.
Clothes. The high is like, I don't know yet. I have worn the same thing for the first 2 games, and I'll probably do the same for.
I would recommend that. That would be a smart.
You guys.
I have also worn the same thing for the first 2 games.
I wore a K-State surplus sale baseball jersey and clean white Nikes, and I'll probably do the same for this one.
Can't say the same about your underwear.
Yeah, I don't like 60 pairs of underwear. Trust me.
Clean white underwear.
Oh, I don't wear white. Look, I'm not 8 years old. TMI.
On that note,
next segment.
Let's talk about our week 2 locks. I just have to say it. I rebounded last week, guys. I went 4-1 last week after starting 1-4. That puts me at 5-5 overall. Fireball Matt went 3-1-1. He had one push last week to bring him to 7-2-1 overall on the season. And then Chef's Locks, he had 2-2-1 record last weekend. That brought him to 5-4-1 overall. I will get it kicked off because I had the winning record last week.
Wait. Are we doing the hoodie bet every week now? Is that the deal?
I agree.
I feel like you have to do something that's at least shaming the other person.
How about you have to put a paper bag over your head?
I'm down with that.
Oh my God.
That sounds fantastic.
Brown paper bag. Brown paper
It says
bag.
Locks loser. Locks loser on it.
That they have to wear for this segment of the show, not the whole show.
Correct.
No,
Not for the whole show. Not for the whole show, for this segment.
Okay.
All right. On that note, I went 4-1 last week. My only loss was Illinois, who I took +3 against KU. KU gobsmacked them. It was not even close. Brett Bielema was back to his form of how he was at Arkansas in that matchup. I also took Rice +9.5 versus Houston, which was a great pick in a game that went to double overtime. It was at Rice too. The stadium was completely empty. It is amazing that they even have a football program still, but guess who is their quarterback? JT Daniels. He is at Rice. It is his 4th stop out of 4 schools. And they delivered. They got the victory against Houston. Cincinnati, I took +7 at Pitt. Cincinnati played very well. That final score was 27-21. Chef, you got the push on the over-under, which we'll let you get to when you go through your locks. But I believe last week you were saying I was picking against you. You picked the over-under. So, no, I was not picking against you. I just picked a different outcome than you did. And then my final game, the sicko game, was Iowa -3.5 at Iowa State in El Assico with many, many politicians in attendance. And that one turned out in Iowa's favor with a final score of 20-13 for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Fun fact, Brian Ferentz still is not even close to his season average of 24 points per game or 25 points per game that he needs to get to, despite 2-0 Iowa Hawkeyes. All right, Matt, you were technically second, with a 3-1-1 record. I'll let you go through your picks, and then we'll go on to Chef.
Yeah. So I pushed Utah at Baylor, which I did miss that game completely because I was cheering on the Cats in Manhattan, but it sounded like a fun game. And
backdoor cover for you.
It very much was. I missed on Alabama versus Texas. Is Texas back? I hope not. We'll see, though. And then I had Oregon covering against Texas Tech. So I loved that last touchdown.
Another backdoor cover
that they took. I did have Washington State winning at home versus Wisconsin. I thought Wisconsin was going to be ass, and rightfully so. And then my sicko game, FCS, Robert Morris Colonials beating up on St. Francis, PA. I knew it. True sicko game. Nobody, and I'll bet no K-State person knows where those two schools are. So
probably not.
I don't.
Chef, you went 2-1 last week. Let's go through your picks.
I hit on the UCF Boise game. What a wild game that was.
Yeah.
I mean, John Rice Plumlee gets hurt.
They fumble in the end zone.
Oh my God. On the blue turf. It's just a beautiful thing to see, man. It was a wild game, hit a game winner at the end, but still my Boise State 3.5. Oklahoma State, super late game. Nobody stayed up to watch that game. Oklahoma State pulls it out. They win by 2 scores towards the end, going against a freshman quarterback. That was
Gunnar Gundy. Is he the answer?
I don't think so. I think that's 2 straight games that they've played 3 quarterbacks, which is
Gundy plans to do it again next week.
Gunnar Gundy is the answer to this question. Who the fuck is... No, never mind. That was going to be really dumb.
Oh, my God.
No. I can't now. Shit.
I push on the Cincinnati Pitt game. I didn't even watch the game, to be honest with you, but I'm sure I got fucking snaked towards the end of that game, fucking sniped out of nowhere for the random push. And then Ole Miss Tulane. These fucking Tulane Green Wave, man. They pissed me off so much. I mean,
I was so pissed.
Because
I had Tulane in this game too.
It was a tight game. I mean, and then all of a sudden it just wasn't. Out of nowhere, they just at home had their chance to, be the darlings. And honestly, if they win that game versus Ole Miss, they should just cruise through the rest of their schedule. But to no avail. And then my sicko game was fucking OU versus FAU, and it didn't happen for me. Fucking OU always finds a way to screw us, me in particular.
And for the 99% of you who are listening and wondering what he's talking about, it is the Ohio University Bobcats, not the Oklahoma University Sooners.
In Ohio, OU is Ohio. UT is University of Toledo. It's just how it is. That's the way life is, all right?
How many listeners do we have in the state of Ohio? Let's see here.
Oh,
Analytics.
my God. Jesus.
Audience.
You got one.
Yeah, you got one.
Ohio,
Chef's wife.
Ohio, less than 1% of all listeners.
That checks out, doesn't it?
52% from Columbus, 23% from Grove City. It's probably just Chef, but listening from different locations.
Yeah.
Because we also have a listener from Germany, and I guarantee you it was just me when I was in Germany. I think we also have a listener from Sweden, which was Matt when he was in Sweden.
No, this is Norway. No, but
Norway.
yes, that's definitely it.
All right, moving on to week 3's locks. I will get it kicked off as the reigning champion. The Big 12, my 3 games. Game number 1, I've got Oklahoma State. I think they did a great job taking care of business last week against Arizona State. I think they easily covered the -8.5 versus South Alabama. At home, it's in Stillwater. I feel good about that one. I don't feel good about the fact that Oklahoma State has 3 quarterbacks. Will they stick with Gunnar Gundy? Who knows? Is Garrett Rangel? Is it going to be Alan Bowman? Are we going to see all 3 or none of them? I don't know. West Virginia -1.5 versus Pitt. They took care of business last year at Pitt. I don't know that their team is. I thought they beat Pitt last year, didn't they?
No, Pitt definitely beat West Virginia last year.
Remember, it was on the pick at the end of the game. It was nuts.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
yeah, well, whatever. They take care of business at home against Pitt. They've got a better team this year than they had last year, in my opinion. And then TCU, I've got -7 at Houston. Houston is going to be ass this year. I've continued to pick against them every week, and I'm 1 for 1 against Houston so far this week. So fingers crossed TCU can take care of business on the road. My national game of the week, in a week that's very scarce on good national games of the week, I picked Washington -16 against Michigan State. Michigan State just fired their head coach. They're going through it. They're either going to be in the spot where they just show out and they win for Mel, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think anybody's winning for Mel right now. So I'm going to take Washington. They've been really solid through the first 2 games as well. I think Washington has covered 2 very, very large spreads so far this season. So I'm taking Washington. And then my sickos game, I've got Vandy -3.5 at UNLV, the Running Rebels in Vegas under the lights. Wow. Or at least I assume it's under the lights. I have no idea.
Yeah, why are you assuming that?
Those are saucy picks.
It's because it's Vegas and it's like 120 degrees during the day.
All right. So my Big 12 locks. I have a couple big dogs going. I have Wyoming covering 28.5 at Texas. 29 is a lot. That's a lot
Big
of points.
letdown spot.
And this is a potential letdown game for Texas. I'm not saying they're going to lose this game, but I think 28.5 is a lot to try and cover for that game. So I'm going to have Wyoming, Arkansas against BYU. I don't know why. I was just like, I'm going to pick against BYU this week. I don't even care who they're playing. They could be playing, I don't know. But I'm going to have Arkansas at home covering the 9.5. And then Nevada, if you watch Veep, but Nevada covering 28 points versus KU. Now, KU is going on the road, first road game of the year. I'm not saying KU is not going to win this game. KU should win this game. Nevada is 0-2. But I do think that they'll put together at least a showing because, again, 28 points is a lot of points to cover, especially for a team on the road. My national game of the week, I picked Penn State at Illinois covering 13.5. We've seen Illinois has not looked great in their first two games. I think Penn State is going to be pretty good this year. So I think they're going to cover the two scores. And then my sicko game of the week, I have our future Big 12 brethren, Arizona State, hosting Fresno State. And I believe Fresno State is going to cover a 3.5 point favorite in that game and end up winning by 10.
Do we know why Nevada is a home and home for KU? We never returned the favor with Nevada for
I wonder,
was that a COVID thing?
A lot of these Big 12 schools are doing that. You'll see.
We do with Tulane. We are with Tulane, but not Nevada, which is weird.
I just think KU's in a different stature where, they had to schedule home and homes to schedule teams while we're like, let's just host Tulane and get fucked. But, it's okay.
I also didn't realize that we had Rutgers on the schedule for 2030 and 2031.
Yes, we fucking do have. We do have Butgers on the schedule. Sign it up. Arizona, Washington State, the Kirk Schultz Bowl. Let's go.
We got Army coming up soon too.
In the Mountain West Washington State Cougars, or the Pac-2 Washington State.
Next
Cougars.
year is Arizona, right? I think
that's
Army next year too.
Going to be a non-conference game, even though it is a conference game.
I'm pretty sure Army's on schedule next season.
Army is the following 2025. We've got UT Martin, Tulane at Tulane in New Orleans.
Wait, we're at Tulane next season?
Yes.
Oh, hot damn! We're gonna bring up. I'll bet you we'll bring a bunch of people in New Orleans for that game.
Should we all go? Let's all go.
All right, I'll plan for it.
Oh, baby.
Could you imagine us on Bourbon Street?
Easy drive from DFW. Let me tell you.
They're going to be renaming that Fireball Street after Matt gets his hands on it.
Yo.
All right, Chef. I have no idea what you're going to pick for your locks this week because you don't have it on the outline. So
listen, you guys don't help. You guys don't participate with me on that outline. You guys send it to me late. You guys just want a competitive advantage against me.
I sent it to you with 12 hours of advance.
I get it. You guys are intimidated by Andre's locks. Anyway, so I've got Iowa State. People are down. People are dogging on Iowa State because that was the best game that they've played since Matt Campbell was there versus Iowa. He said that, and
some are saying
him. Some are saying it. And I believe him. So I'm going to take Iowa State to cover the 2.5 versus OU on the road in Athens. Oh, I love you. Oh, I love Athens, dude. You guys got to get to Athens. If you think Bourbon Street is fun, Athens is nuts.
I hear Greece is really nice this time of year, actually.
Wait, so Iowa State is 2.5 point.
The Mediterranean.
Favorites, yes.
Okay.
Iowa State's a 2.5 point favorite this weekend?
Yes. And I'm going to take that 2.5 points, and they're going to cover it.
That Ohio Bobcats team just beat Tom Herman and Casey Thompson at Florida Atlantic.
Trust me, I know. They were on my picks last week, and I don't think they can do it again. Anyway, back to what I was doing. Another Big 12 team on the road. Where is Tulsa at? I don't know. I've never been there. And it's yuck. 27.5 points. OU went against SMU last week, and SMU's a solid team. You know, they had like one of the best portal recruiting classes of anybody last year. They're a salty team. So I think OU is going to rebound. They could beat the shit out of Tulsa. Tulsa by 4 touchdowns? Please give it to me. Come on, OU. The other OU. Let's do it. 27.5 points? Give it to me. They'll cover that. Yeah. Easy money. And then my third Big 12 game. Cincinnati versus Miami of Ohio. Yes, another Ohio battle. Cincinnati loves these regional games. 14 points is a lot of points for Cincinnati. Can Emory Jones keep it up? I'm not too sure. Give me Miami to keep it within 14. I think it's going to be a 10-point loss, but I think they'll keep it within 14 points. So that's where I'm at with that. My national game, like you were saying, there's no good national games. These all stink to high hell. But it's college football, so you got to love it. My national game is going to be South Carolina, Georgia on CBS, 3:30 or whatever you guys watch games at, 2:30, 1:30, who knows. Georgia's going to absolutely smash South Carolina. They have no offensive line. Those Gamecocks stink. They suck, Gamecocks, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, Georgia minus the 27.5. Come on, baby. 2-time national champion. They're searching for their third. Give me Georgia. And then my sicko game. Yuck. I'm going to go to the... No, I'm not. I changed my mind. I absolutely changed my mind. Do we have anything in the Sun Belt that's worth looking at? I'm doing this on the fly, baby.
You did your homework.
Ooh, baby. The Sun Belt's talking to me. Ooh, Georgia Southern versus Wake Forest. Nobody's watching this game. Nobody. 0%. All of Wisconsin is checked out. They're all intoxicated. They're drunk as hell up there right now. Georgia Southern. Ugh, yuck. Wisconsin will cover that 19. They're going to run all over Georgia Southern, an undefeated Georgia Southern team.
Didn't you
Give
say
me
Wake
Wisconsin.
Forest?
No, I said Wisconsin.
You said Wake Forest.
We'll play this back, and if I said Wake Forest, I'll do 5 jumping jacks on Instagram Live.
All right. Yep. You did say Wake Forest, so you can start those.
So wait. Did you have Wisconsin covering 19? Sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
They're going to run through Georgia.
Luke Fickle's unranked Wisconsin Badgers going to rebound after being ranked 2 weeks in a row.
You know how that is. They just got that's their Tulane game. That was their Tulane game. So boom.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of games last week were everybody's Tulane game. So we'll see.
Hold on, Matt? Did you have Texas covering versus?
No. Wyoming's going to cover 28.5.
Oh,
Go Pokes.
That's
Go
why.
Cow Pokes.
Okay. Damn. Could you imagine if they upset UT?
There's no way. But there's always a way. If there's a will, there's a way.
If they did, they would be first in the Big 12 right now. They would have 2 Big 12 wins.
And they would also be they would probably go from unranked to being a top 15 team because their wins are against Texas Tech and Texas.
Absolutely.
Craig Bowl, dude. This is Chris Kleiman's predecessor. This is his mentor. I am still shocked that he has not seen more success. And this guy had Josh Allen as his quarterback for 3 years or 2 years.
How's he doing, buddy?
Never won more than 8 games there.
13-13 game. Oh, why Tulane came to Manhattan? We have a 2 home, 1 away with them. Or why we're going there. Why we're going to
see them again?
Maybe KU did something similar with Nevada.
Yeah, we're playing them in 2026 at home.
I'm tired of them.
Hey, but who knows what conference they'll be in by then? Maybe they'll be in the SEC. That could be a
They've
I'm
won more
tired of
SEC championships than like half of the SEC has. Fun fact.
Exactly.
And we are going to move on to our Guys Talking Ball segment, in which Ace Edwards from the Aggieville Alley Cats has rejoined us, and we'll be talking through just some ball and whatever we want to talk about. But the first question, we got a couple of responses from our listeners this week when asking for questions specifically for Ace for this week's podcast. The first one comes from Will the Thrill at Will_KSU. How does one, being a fan of two teams such as, manage their emotions when the two play each other?
See, this is a very complicated question, because last year I straight up did not know how to feel. The only thing I felt was excitement for the game, because you got to keep in mind that when MU was still in the Big 12, that's sort of before my caring about college football at all developed. So basically it was a brand new thing for me. But I would say that the way I managed my emotions would be I sort of pick my favorite players and just hope they do well. And failing that, I just say, okay, realistically here, let's just set up this situation here. We have a 500 SEC team, or my alma mater, like my childhood team, who's at a 6-6 SEC team, or my alma mater, who could win this game, and that could, propel them into more momentum for winning a conference championship. So in other words, I try to cut out all emotion from the equation and try to just be really pragmatic about it. Like, who should win? Like, I'm not going to use that analogy. You just pick whoever you think a win would benefit the most. That being said, I understand different calculuses, but I don't know. I just think it's fun watching them play. I think I try to cut off all emotions other than fun.
I'm just trying
sports.
Oh.
Am I cutting out?
No,
don't make me cut you off and cut myself off.
No, you're not cutting out. I'll let you go because we got some good internet right now.
We're just guys talking ball, man. I think that's the way it should be. I think, when you take a step back and you realize that you're watching teenagers tackle each other to the ground, there's no reason that we should be like forcing ourselves to get all bent out of shape about it. It was like, I do that to myself all the time. I'm watching a game and I'm like, dude, why am I stressing over this game so hard? It's the time that you put into it, but my God, it's just kids, wrestling each other.
It does in a way kind of make me think about in 2018 in the NCAA tournament, K-State played Creighton. I grew up a huge Creighton fan. My dad played and coached baseball there, was a diehard Creighton basketball fan during a lot of really shitty basketball years for K-State. And I, at that point in time, decided I was going to go with my childhood team for that matchup in the Marcus Foster rematch. And I decided that I made a huge mistake, and I've all but essentially sacrificed any kind of Creighton fanhood that I had at that point in time. And I've let it just sit on the back burner. And K-State is the one and only team that I care about and will only ever care about at this point. So I respect that you're able to keep both of them at the forefront, knowing that I kind of did the reverse of I picked a side and I let that essentially ruin my fanhood for the other team. So I respect that out of you, Ace.
Well, you also have to put into perspective that you now have a Texas connection. So basically they're your number two now.
No, they suck.
But
happy wife, happy life, man. You better start putting that burnt orange on, man.
No.
I swear, I probably have a picture of you in some Texas shirt somewhere we can post.
Oh, there are a few.
I can
Photoshop him into some Texas shit.
You don't need to Photoshop it.
Okay, RJ Garcia's hoodie, calm down here. Chef, who's your second school? Is Ohio State?
OU.
OU?
No, it's actually UT, which is University of Toledo. Here around these parts. No, it's not my second school. I don't have a second school. My alma mater, D3 powerhouse Hocking College, I could pick them, but it's just not the same. It's the time investment that I was talking about. Like, I couldn't imagine what Ace goes through. Like, actually caring about two teams, or what you were going through with Creighton, having two teams that you actually care about is got to be a stressor beyond all belief, because the podcast that you have to listen to, your own show that you co-host, that's a big responsibility. How do you even keep up with that shit?
On the difficulty, try being an MU fan while doing it. But honestly, it's sort of my way of decompressing with everything else. So like, it's not like, I've never considered the podcast to be like a job. I've never considered it to be anything more than like a thing that I do with one of my best friends covering one of my favorite topics. And like, I keep track of all kinds of sports, and, just keeping track of MU, not to try to get too sappy, but it's also kind of a way that my mom and I sort of, keep that relationship up. Not because like it's strained in any way, but just because like it's something that we can both easily talk about, especially whenever she starts yelling about Trinkowitz. And I'm like, wow, damn, I'm really not the person who hates this man most on this earth. That shit's awesome. But yeah, it's never been stressful to me. I've always just really, I'll turn on both of their games, try to enjoy them. With K-State, a lot of times it's more than a try. But, it's never something that I viewed as a job. It's just something I think it's fun. I think it's interesting to look at.
It's always fun if there's something that you do frequently that doesn't feel like work. Just like stuff like this. Albeit it's definitely work dealing with no. How do I do this? There we go. That guy.
With me? Listen. I'm here to lighten the mood. I don't want to be a burden to nobody, but
he doesn't want to be a Luther burden to anybody.
Oh, Bazinga. Mic drop.
The funny thing is, so I grew up like a K-State growing up, and in New York, like college football, like nobody gives a shit about college football in New York. Albeit, Syracuse, whatever, but so I never had a second team for football. It was always K-State. Now for basketball, that's a different story, but look at it. Right there.
So I am also curious, Ace. Again, I have the Creighton K-State connection. So guess who my most hated team is?
Nebraska.
Yes. For you, you've got that same mutual hatred for KU from both sides. How does that, I guess, what do you think about the Kansas Jayhawks?
Fuck the Hawks. Honestly, I think the best way that I can describe this is with a little mini story here. So fellow K-State podcast host Scott Wildcat, a couple of years ago, said something congratulatory about the fact that both K-State and KU were either receiving votes or both were in the top 25. I immediately responded by saying, I don't want to be on a list that includes them. So I think that sort of describes the amount of disdain that I have for KU. Because as a kid, I was getting dunked on because I was one of the few MU fans in my class in a Missouri elementary school. But
damn,
it was tough. It was tough. It was tough times. But then my alma mater is K-State, and I've spent my entire life being told KU is the enemy, which, by the way, I did tour KU. There was a brief period of about like 35 seconds where I was like, damn, this is a really nice school. And then I thought about it for about 25 more seconds. And I'm like, damn, these buildings were really built during Brady Bunch. And then I just decided that I wasn't going to go there.
They must not have shown you Bluemont Hall when they took you on your campus tour at K-State.
No, they didn't. But they did show me Calvin because that was my building, which is not better. But
oh my God, that place is fucked.
I mean,
like the third floor.
It's not like Kedzie. It's not like Kedzie, where I'm pretty sure if you get too many offensive linemen and one of them rips ass the wrong way, the building's going to fall.
I will not stand for Kedzie slander. I spent 75% of my college career in Kedzie.
Good job surviving.
And here's the deal. They were talking about getting a Kedzie renovation done when I was there, and they still have not even come close to even starting a conversation about it still.
Nope. No, they haven't. But yeah,
I was looking through this edition of the K-Stater magazine, and they've got this whole like campus renovation project, and half of it is about like, we're going to keep Ahern around, but we don't know what we're going to do with it. And then they also had footnotes where it's like, Kedzie and Calvin have history. And that was it, basically.
Hey, no free ads. # no free ads. If the K-Stater wants some pub, they can sponsor a show that has a drug in its name. K-State Alumni Association, you're up.
Speaking of sponsors, this episode is sponsored by Progressive.
Do you say Progresso, like the soup?
No, Progressive.
I couldn't tell.
Do they provide internet services now?
You motherfuckers.
Ace. Give me your favorite K-State football game you've attended.
Favorite K-State football game I've attended? Easy. Oklahoma State 2022.
Oh, that was fun.
That was a fun game.
That's a class. You stayed the whole time?
Yes, I did. Second place would be OU 2019.
I was there.
Oh, yeah. That was a fun one, too.
That was a blast.
Oh, man.
Yes, I was one of the alumni who was out on the field. I do.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, I did the same thing. Come on.
Fantastic.
I think I even saw you on the field. Maybe I didn't.
Maybe. I don't know.
I'm going to rewatch it. I'm going to look for you guys. Because I wasn't there.
You managed to find us on every broadcast that we'll show up for like point through of a frame, and Chef's like,
found him. Found him.
That's like my mom when I was going to school. She would always somehow find me on a telecast, and she would take a picture like right up like this to the TV and send it to me.
It's like Scott Wildcat's Twitter photo of him in a K-State West Virginia
at the West Virginia game, which was in it was in Wichita, because I was also on that broadcast at one point.
That's right.
You know who I saw at the game this past game versus Troy that was just sitting in the crowd randomly? Josh Revis. Huge. He's a humongous man.
He was. He's offensive.
Yeah, guard. Like 2 years ago, but he was just sitting in the crowd. They were just showing like screenshots of the crowd. I was like, Josh Revis, that's him.
One of Snyder's soldiers.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
Okay, Ace. Everybody's picking on me, so let's make Bob feel bad, and then we'll get to Matt. But like the hoodie, RJ's hoodie. Are you on team RJ hoodie or team not RJ hoodie? Steve Largent look.
Man, there are only so many hours in my fucking day that I can pick to devote to. You know what? I'm gonna go Team RJ hoodie. I think Team RJ, like,
that's right.
I think RJ's hoodie, like, it works for him. There's like a certain style of receiver that can make the hoodie work. You have to be from Florida, Alabama, or Georgia. That's really about it. You have to run good routes. Yeah,
the only prerequisite.
You have to be from those three states, and you have to run good routes.
I will say, based on the yardage in game 1 versus game 2, I will maybe change my tune and say Team RJ hoodie.
Well, you should. I mean, just don't be an old man, Bob. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Look at how he's dressed. This is quintessential old man.
Oh, great. Yeah, I'm wearing a vintage shirt, which is actually popular now, man.
Dad cap.
Quintessential geriatric.
Yeah, he is.
Vintage apparel for half of my life, and now it's popular again.
All right. Chef, bring the roasting. What do you got for me?
It's so hard to roast perfection. It's like,
thank you.
Oh, I did shave my head. I went back to the bald look. We're all baldies. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm getting close. I'm 23 years old, and I'm getting depressingly close.
It's all
It's
right.
okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's a
You'll be
great
a
So
set.
you can.
You'll be a sexy bald. Dead air. Let's go, baby. What do we got?
So we did have one more listener question. It came from Matterhoof at Matterhoof. Question number 1: are our fans supposed to be loud on offense or defense?
As a K-State fan, I would hope that we're loud. And I know this is taking shots at the Missouri, like, you know, that's just cornballish. It's everything about it.
Third down.
Everything is cornballish with Missouri. I don't know why that is. It's cringe, cornballish. But honestly, I mean, what are they supposed to do? Like, are they not supposed to put those videos out? Are they not supposed to teach the freshmen what to do? You know, those hot MU girls don't know what to do on third down.
You don't put it in a video, though. You do it at the first freshman pep rally like K-State does. KU put out a very similar video about 8 years ago that had the exact same thing that taught them when to clap during the fight song. Like, just total embarrassment of a program.
Is that how you clap?
No. Let me. All right.
Defend your team. Defend your team, Ace.
No. I'm going to defend KU first because I've been in the K-State student section. They cannot hold a beat. And as someone who has like made music and has played bass before, Bob, you are aware that this bothers you and I in particular.
It drove me absolutely insane when I was in the student section. It still does when I'm at games.
Yeah, you understand. But I don't know, man. Like the only thing that I can say is look at the cringy things that MU is doing, and then kind of look at the head basketball coach, and suddenly things like the numbers start adding up perfectly. Because you get cringe like multiplied by cringe, it becomes cringe cubed. I'm a fucking idiot. It becomes cringe squared. I'm not a math major. I was a humanities major. Thank you. I was history and political science. But I don't know, man. Like I don't feel like there is much defending that. It's like oh shit. What was it? 5 years ago, they made like an SEC rap video, and I genuinely had to go like undercover for like multiple days.
Oh, the We Are Mizzou video?
Yes.
That's rough.
That was in 2012.
That's real rough.
That was in 2012 because when I was in Delta Sig, my pledge class went on sneak to Mizzou, and that video was popular because it was spring of 2012. They were headed to the SEC, and it was like it was the soundtrack of our trip there, and we were making fun of it the whole time. It was fantastic.
R.I.P. Missouri Delta Sig.
Anyway. Beta.
Rip. Man,
what other questions do we have for Ace?
What are we expecting for a crowd? I mean, I know you're wearing purple there, or are you wearing a neutral color? Don't wear a neutral color. I'm
wearing the Aggieville Alley Cats shirt.
I bet it's going to be
from AggieVilleAlleyCats.myspreadshop.com.
Do we
which
think we're
shirt,
going to
though? Are
bring
you wearing Neon Alley Cats or something different?
I'm actually going to wear the established Alley Cats polo.
So. God, that's hot, baby. That thing. Don't wear the cotton one though. You know how I feel.
Oh, we got rid of the cotton one.
Oh, I know. God damn it! But what are we expecting for crowd? Are we going to see a sea of purple there, or
I mean, it sounds like I wonder if we're going to have like 10 or 15,000 people there.
That's what it's a sellout, and they haven't sold out a game since what 2000 pre-COVID. So
I mean, it's not going to be like Vanderbilt, but I feel like we're going to have.
What about KU level? Could it be like, how like the discrepancy of purple to blue red? I mean,
I could see it being that, like maybe to a little lesser degree, like maybe take it down like 5 to 7% of that. But
that's a lot still.
I can see a world where it's an uncomfortable amount for MU fans to sort of deal with. Because damn it, I remember going to a Kentucky game, like an MU Kentucky game, and there was like a really weird amount of Kentucky fans One sat in front of me, and this was when Benny Snell was their running back. Every single time he touched the ball, I'm 98% sure that he just wasn't speaking English, and he wasn't speaking Creole either, because I can understand every fifth word of Creole. It was an alien language. Man had been abducted like 3 hours before and was trying to blend in.
Them Kentucky Hills people, man, I'm telling you, they're here in Ohio, that big blue nation. It's tough. They fucking travel, dude. That is a dedicated fan base. I know it's not always been there for football for them, and we know about basketball, but my God, big blue nation is everywhere, especially in Ohio. It's tough.
I'm nervous about the game, but I'm always nervous about a K-State game. But I feel like our crowd is going to be really hyped for this one, like primed and ready. Like 8 fireball shots. Every 15,000 people are taking 8 fireball shots for this game.
I can't do that. It'd kill me. I'm allergic to cinnamon.
Oh no. Okay.
Oh no.
I have a. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Chef.
No, I was going to ask him, what does he do about his French toast? I mean, cinnamon toast crunch. I mean, all those
French toast.
Delightful things. You haven't enjoyed any of those things?
I've had French toast before. You can get French toast without cinnamon on it. Just replace it with powdered sugar. It's fine.
No.
I'm not going to go into anaphylactic shock for a piece of fucking toast.
Yeah, Chef, you need to change your name on here to put Chef in quotation marks.
I will kill you to get those goddamn French toast right.
You're like a dishwasher these days instead of a chef.
Hey, take it easy on me.
I have a question for the group. As all of us are big fans of Kansas State sports and some of the trolling that happened last year with the Deuces billboard that was in Kansas City that greeted Mizzou fans headed back to Columbia and parts further down I-70. Do we think that the K-State sports team will have something in store for this season? And if so, what do you think it would be? I'm genuinely curious.
How many billboards could they put up on I-70? I mean,
They could put up a shit ton.
They took down that billboard in Topeka for us that we used to have right next to the KU one, which is kind of depressing. But, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to look too far ahead onto it because I could see them totally trolling us. Who plays number 2 for Mizzou? And it'll be...
Dude, you're such a nervous Nelly. It's killing me. You're killing me. You gotta have some balls going into this game, man. Let's go. Come on.
I'm gonna be yelling extremely loud. Like it's gonna be very painful.
Number 2 is Ennis Rakestraw, who Ace mentioned on our preview episode.
Rakestraw.
Defensive back.
All right.
You know how tempted I am to drive 7.5 hours just to go to this game. I'm so tempted.
That is wild to me that it's only 7.5 hours to Columbia for you.
That surprised me too.
16 for me.
It could be 6.5 if you really hit the gas pedal on that one.
Yeah. I'd get off of work and it'd only take me to get, it'd only be 2 a.m. instead of 3 a.m.
I don't see any. I don't see any.
I'm a terrible night driver too, so I'd probably just crash and die on the way trying to get there. So it's not worth it.
Bringing the sadness to the end of this damn segment, you idiot.
It's all right, man. I won't do it, but UCF is really on the table. That's the one.
7 p.m. kick.
How excited are we about that? No Plumlee. His leg needs amputated. Jesus Christ.
That's what they said about Dion until they fixed it.
That's a thing for UCF quarterbacks. Don't go to UCF to play quarterback or.
Oh yeah, didn't
Mackenzie Milton.
Oh, his leg.
Dylan Gabriel got hurt there too.
Yeah,
they all got bad legs.
Yeah, they don't recruit the power legs.
Bunch of glass boys. Jalen Daniels will be there next.
Oh, that would actually be fucking hilarious if Jason Bean starts more games There's no way, but Jason Bean could be at UCF next year. That
Would be.
know.
Is he a senior?
He's a senior. Doesn't he get one more year though?
Well, who knows? This COVID shit's all backwards.
I think
What,
this is his COVID year.
Oh, this is just COVID year.
He came back for his COVID year to be a backup quarterback. What a fucking cuck. That is ridiculous.
What a fucking cuck.
Honestly,
Holy shit.
I don't think it's that bad of an idea on his part because he knew he was going to get thrown in game one because Jalen wasn't going to be healthy for the entire
Yeah, I guess.
Look, Jason Bean is the poor man's Caleb Williams. All right, chef.
All right. Well, curly-headed Caleb Williams.
When Caleb Williams decides I don't want to go play for the Cardinals and come back to USC, it's Jason Bean who's getting drafted number 1.
I got a feeling the Seattle Seahawks will be Caleb Williams' destination. That's just my way too early, pick for who's going to have the number 1 pick.
Are they going to be that bad with Geno Smith this year that they're going to be the worst team in the NFL?
I think so, bud.
He was the comeback player of the year last year.
Doesn't matter, dude. They're going to bail. They need a franchise quarterback. They're not. Geno's a rental.
Damn.
Okay.
Yeah. Geno Smith stan. What the? Oh, good. I get to come in and he can't say anything.
No rebuttal.
Oh yeah, no rebuttal. No rebuttal. Obviously, Chef doesn't have NFL Red Zone because I watched the Cardinals yesterday and they were not good with Josh Dobbs. Oh God.
I think Chef losing his internet is a perfect segue out of Guys Talking Ball. Ace, again, it was awesome to have you on for the second episode this week. Go ahead and plug your stuff and let the people know where they can find you for the second time this week.
All right, so I'm at AC Edwards 00. Chef is really not enjoying the end of this here episode. I'm one half of the Aggieville Alley Cats podcast. For come rain, shine, or anything in between, we're here to deliver to you the Kansas State sporting news you so love. The other half, Connor Balthazar, and I just go through every single K-State sport, non-rev, revenue, and try to give everything its due diligence, and when it comes to football, we try to do in-depth scheme breakdowns, in-depth scouting reports, in-depth recaps of the game, what worked, what didn't. And if you want to follow us on Twitter or anything really, we're Aggieville ACATS. We also did a collection of videos about topics ranging from Will Howard, K-State starters, and Andy Kotelnicki. All of those are on Aggieville Alley Cats, the YouTube channel. It's the same name for the podcast if you want to check us out anywhere that you get your podcasts. But most importantly, I want to thank Bob, Matt, and Chef for having me on this wonderful episode of Cocaine Willie that almost certainly will go down in history as one of the episodes of Cocaine Willie.
That it will.
That it will. And with that, we're going to head out of here. For all of us at Cocaine Willie, thank you for listening to the show on your podcast feeds or watching us on YouTube. Do us a favor, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star rating. And if you're watching on YouTube, give us a like on the video and subscribe as well. Don't forget to subscribe and also like and subscribe to the Aggieville Alley Cats on YouTube as well. As always, you can follow the show on Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube at Cocaine Willie, or follow us individually. I am at Bob Trollsby. Fireball Matt is at Matt Marchesini, and Chef is at Chef Andre Napier. Chef.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug, baby.
We are all coke and no joke. Wildcat country.
Let's fucking ride.
Fucking right.
Let's ride.